Hey, g'day big bikers. Well, I am sitting in a hotel room in Auckland, New Zealand. It's been a couple of weeks since I did the Husky Trek 2024. I thought I'd bring my Husky shirt with me. So a couple of weeks since Husky Trek 2024 has been finished, and I thought I'd better bring the computer over and go through some of the footage and just see if I can put something together for you. The trip was great. I mean, a lot of you know, if you're following on Instagram and on Facebook, you'll know that I put the 701 on the back of the Land Cruiser. And Ms. Buttons and I went down to the south coast of New South Wales, and I actually dropped her off she's got some family down there, so I dropped her off there. She spent a week with them, took the 701 off the back of the Land Cruiser, loaded it up with all my stuff, and then took off down to start the Husky Trek at Huskisson.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
What's going on?
Well, I'm just about to head off to Huskisson. So it's it's kind of the first day of Husky Trek, but it's just the welcome. So I'm about an hour and a half away from Huskisson. I've decided, rather than you dropping me off, I'm going to take my bag down because I'm going to give this to them during the day, ride without it, then pick it up at night, and I'll just take it back to the hotel. So it's just all my stuff. I've just got to get it there. I'm looking forward to it. Group of a week riding with everyone. It's going to be great. So I've just got to get there. It's midday on Sunday, and Husky Trek 2024, day 1.
Calling you.
So bike set up.
Better hit the rubber.
Better hit the
rubber on the road.
Frog and toad. Do you want to show people your pajamas?
No, I don't. Wow, TMI, too much information. I'll show my shoes, that's about it. Uggies.
Have a relaxing time with your auntie.
Yes, have a great time.
And I'll see you in a week.
Au revoir. Moi, moi.
The event was really, really well organised. They had medical, they had mechanical support, they had lead riders, sweep riders. But what they did was, rather than you following people around, they gave us all the maps for the day and then just allowed us to ride at our own pace, which was absolutely terrific. So generally, you didn't have to follow the tracks. You could take pretty much any route you wanted, which was good because there was a few sections there where I thought, well, that one's just going to take me through the forest, or that one's going to take me through the coast. So I'd take the coastal ride because I'd not been down that part of the south coast before. There's only one thing you had to do, or two things you had to do every day. One was you had to check out in the morning, so you had to let them know you were on the ride and you were going, and then you had to check back in to let them know that you'd returned from the ride. I had my Garmin InReach with me, and that there was a lot of the day, even though there was like 100 bikes on the event, you really, unless you were riding with the group specifically, I hardly saw any other riders. There was one day where I teamed up with Chris, from another Husky rider, and he and I rode together for a while because we were kind of just at the same pace. But you'd get passed occasionally by people, or you'd occasionally pass someone. But to be honest, most of the time I was riding alone, which was great. We had a great time doing that. But yeah, I mean, if you want to ride with a group, you could ride with a group. So there were lots and lots of options and alternatives, and basically it was your trip, your way, which worked out pretty well. The weather was sunny and warmish, a lot warmer than I was expecting for the south coast of New South Wales, but it was the wind. The wind was really quite destructive, and even at the rural property where Ms. Buttons was staying, they had trees down, power was out, so they, obviously because of rural property, they had generator backup and tank water, so they were okay. But it was a pretty destructive area through that whole south coast region for a few days. What that meant in the forest, as we're riding along the Great Dividing Range along the south coast, is that a lot of the trees through the forestry regions were just blown over. And so the lead rider team did a great job. They'd go out in the morning and they'd had a little cordless chainsaws, battery operated cordless chainsaws, and they were clearing paths. So you'd either go around a tree, over a tree, or under a tree, depending on how big it was. But there was quite a lot of that. And there were a couple of instances where I had branches come down as I'm riding along, branches come down in front of me or behind me, or twigs hit my helmet and stuff. So it was really quite a full-on adventure, and we had a great time. It was a really, really good event. They organised it so well. So you would check out in the morning to let them know you're riding. You check back in the afternoon, and then every evening it was a group dinner where we'd talk about the next day, the things that had happened during that day that none of us if you were riding by yourself, you didn't get to know about. But the media team are out taking photos and capturing creek crossings and wheelies and water bar jumps and all that sort of stuff. So there's quite a really good range of images from that. And if you've been watching the Insta page, the BBA Insta page, you will see I've put up a sequence, a series of photos that came from the media team of guys just on water crossings, deciding that having a swim was probably the best option for them. Anyway, but look, I'm not going to do a day-by-day blow of the trip. I'm just going to run some footage. Sadly, the camera that setup I had didn't capture the inclines or the declines on some of these hills that we got to climb, and I've got to say I'm very, very impressed with the 701. It just did such a great job. It really, really just tracked it through about 1,500 kilometres we did in that week. Not much sealed stuff that we did, and a lot of it was all up in the forest. But there were some really, really interesting breakout sections there that were quite interesting and a little bit technical. But the 701 just did it. It's so easy. I ended up turning the traction control. I turned it off initially, but I ended up turning it back on because the back end was just skipping out, going up some of these hills. It hit a rock and bounce out and glance sideways, and was just losing so much traction. So I actually ended up one stage stopping, turning the traction control back on, and it just did such a great job, just talking up these hills like just a tractor. It was amazing. I'm very, very impressed. And it's the first time I've spent a consecutive series of days riding the 701. Normally it's just a day trip or an overnight or something, but to go out every day for 5 days riding off-road, some really technical stuff, some not so technical stuff, it's a great bike. I'm very impressed with the 701. So it's hanging around. Let's go check out some footage.
The serenity. The serenity before the madness begins. It is absolutely howling. There's a hi-fi danger. There's 90 bikes, 901s and 701s, and it's just absolutely howling. First day, second day. So there's going to be a lot of debris in the forest. They've actually already told us that they've been able to clear the tracks and the trees down, so it's good to have that, but it is blowing like you would not believe. And I mean, it'll be better once we're up in the forest, but there'll be tops of trees coming down on top of us, and not much we can do. I'll take you up for a ride through all the other bikes. Husqvarna, there's about 90 odd bikes here. Had a really, really good welcoming dinner last night. A good bunch of guys. Catching up with a few fellas who go, "Hey Steve," so that's really nice. If you see me call out, that's awesome. I love it. And we just got to ride today. It's about 250 k's, a couple of breakout sections. But I think the most of it will just be fire trails. So we'll go and see what it's like. All right. Hard to explain and camera doesn't really do it justice. There was just there were hills that were so steep. I had a 3-day growth by the time I got to the top, and I started out clean shaven today. None of the camera work will do it justice. At a trig point, I think we're on Maruya Fire Trail, at the trig point on the top, just trees everywhere, carnage on the tracks, but 701's just tractoring through it. It's doing such a great job. I'm actually very impressed. Crazy morning this morning up in the forest, just trees down. I'm actually surprised there's still a forest standing. There are so many trees across the track, and you know, lots of diversions. You're going under them, over them, round them, and yeah, it was it was fun. Again, another one of those situations where I was glad I didn't have the big bike. But, yeah, the 701 just is doing so well. Some of the climb out of those creeks, so you'll go down these really steep inclines into a creek, and then you've got to climb all the way out again. And the 701 is just chugging away like a tractor. It's just fantastic. Just so much power in reserve. It's got a lot of torque, but you wind it on, it'll just wheel stand up the hill, and it's one of the transport stages along the highway. Kind of you got to come out of the forest and go back into the forest and finish the ride. It's absolutely howling today. I don't know whether you can hear me or not. Anyway, as I'm riding along the bit of the bitumen, going, you know, it's a beautiful coastline along here. I've actually never been down along this way, but I'm looking at the map as I'm riding along, going, it looks like a really beautiful part of the coast. So, you know what? I'm going to turn left instead of right, and I'm going to go down to the beaches. I came down, was having a bit of jerky, some water, you know, a muesli bar, just have a bit of a sit and relax, and smell the roses. I'm a long way from home. It's a part of the coast that I've never been down. I've driven past it, never stopped in a lot of the beaches along here. So I thought, why not? So this is what I mean by just, you know, taking a little bit of time. Check out some amazing locations. And I like exploring, I like going to places that I've not been before, and I'll ride some there this afternoon. Check that out. That is pretty special. Go and check out a lookout. So we're up at Porter Mountain Gap, and it's howling. And of course, as soon as I start talking, it stops off. So we're up above Ulladulla is over there. We've been kind of riding through all the mountain trails and the fire trails through here, but there was a turn off sign as I'm doing a little transit section, said Porter Mountain Lookout. I thought, oh, we'll go and check that out, and it turned out to be this amazing rocky outcrop. I'll show you the footage as I came up the road, just down here. It's incredible rock sandstone overhang, and I felt quite nervous going under it. Amazing rock formation, so definitely worth a bit of an explore around here. But geez, at the moment it's just howling. So there's lots of debris on the track. It's actually not all that pleasant, but anyway, it's not pleasant on the highway either. Anyway, we'll get back to it. What do you want to be in it? So have you got pajamas on again? No. So that's the end of day 5, Husky Trek 2024. Just got back, finished the ride, checked back in, grabbed my bags, and then rode the hour and a half up from Huskisson up to Fitzroy Falls. Ms. Buttons and I are going to head home early tomorrow morning, and that'll be it, trip done. And over the next couple of days I'll try and put some video together. I have got some travel, but that means I'll be spending time in the hotel room at night, so I'll try and put something together that's at least a start to the program. All right, no injuries, made it. The plan was to complete Husky Trek without any injuries. Job done. Over and out.